You're listening to the Really Very Crunchy podcast with your hosts, Emily
and Jason. Emily, how are we doing? It's the middle of the winter. I'm tired.
You haven't really been getting outside very much, nor have you been using my vitamin D cream.
Wait, you have a vitamin D cream?
You don't smell the dead fish smell on me when we go to bed at night?
Is that what that is? I've been wondering. No, I don't, actually. Is that a vitamin D supplement that you just put on your skin, basically?
Well, supposedly, vitamin D is 8 times more effective when it's absorbed through the skin versus taken orally.
Really?
So,
You're just throwing this on me. This was not planned. I am so interested. Let's talk.
That's what I've got.
I was just reading this morning, actually, about vitamin D deficiencies, and I was told by my kidney doctor that I have one.
Yeah.
Most people do.
I doubt
A lot
I
of
do.
people do. Doesn't
Look
sound
at
like
me.
it.
I am sunshine.
But you smell like fish?
Well, it has. I've mentioned my moisturizer having cod liver oil in it. It's really. I just put it on at night, and by the morning, it's dissipated. You could put a link in the comments so people can.
Is it an affiliate link?
It is, but I genuinely like it and use it, and I think I can tell a difference.
Wait, who makes it?
Earthly.
Oh, it's the Earthly. Okay, yeah. I haven't used the oil.
You don't dip into my stuff.
Not usually. No, I do. Actually, I've used it a lot when I've been sick, but not the vitamin D stuff, the tinctures.
I finally turned you on to it.
Yeah, I'm with the tinctures. I've this winter, and I feel like it's the first winter that this has happened to me. I've truly learned that I hate winter.
Really?
I hate winter.
I think you hate Kentucky winters because northern winters are beautiful with the snow and there are more opportunities to get out and do things like,
yeah.
I see all these people with these really cute wooden sled. I don't know what it's called. It looks like a stroller and you ride on the back and like a kid is sitting in the front. And no, there's a special name.
Oh, okay.
And it's like a kick sled kind of thing. Oh, it looks so fun. And
they have all the fun things like snowmobiles and everything else.
In Kentucky, it's like, why would you go outside?
For the winter, you get mud.
Yeah.
It's muddy.
It's humid.
Cold mud.
Cold.
Yeah.
So, but that's okay. We get a longer...
Summer, spring, fall. Yeah.
It is nice.
Well, yeah, it's going to be like 50-something degrees on Friday.
We have flowers by March.
If they don't come out in January and then die, because we have all the seasons in our winter sometimes. Yeah, so people up north might say, that, like, no, you don't want a northern winter. No, but we've lived up north. And honestly, they are longer. They do take much longer to get through. However, they are nice.
Yeah, magical. There's like a
I like walking
blanket
in the
of snow really regularly.
You're ready for it. You're ready for that kind of winter.
Nothing more magical than looking out your window and seeing it snow.
Yeah. Well,
prove me wrong.
I'm sure there's plenty of people from Wisconsin who would probably be like, ugh. More snow.
Okay, the only thing more magical is when your child is born and you hold them in your arms for the first time.
That's the only thing. The one thing is the more magical or as magical is it's the birth of snow. Well, I feel like I've got cabin fever. Honestly, I need to get out. And so we're taking this show on the road, folks. If you haven't bought your tickets yet. No, actually, but we are going on tour in like 3 weeks. And
I wonder if there's anybody in Michigan who has one of those sled things who could give me the experience so I could feel it.
Is our first show in Michigan?
Yeah. I just want to know what it feels like.
Yeah, we're doing 2 shows in Michigan. Those are our first ones. Is that right? We go up there first? I'm just trying to make sure. I don't really remember the schedule.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Well, we don't want to get injured at the start of the show.
I don't think I would get injured from this.
I don't know.
We
went ice skating. We went ice skating the other day, and we had one of those little sled thingies on the ice rink. I know it's not the same thing.
That was not the same thing.
I just about broke my kneecap.
I didn't.
Terrible.
So you're older than me, and
I'm more feeble.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. For my birthday, we took the kids out. It was nice.
Are you trying to make a statement here right now? Like, what do you want, Jason?
I loved it. It was very cold.
You said that was one of the best birthdays.
It was one of the best birthdays of my life.
And now you're like trying to give me a hard time.
It's funny. You told me one time, you're like, I would like to give you a surprise birthday party one of these days, but who would be there?
No, it's just that one time we were talking to someone else, and I think I said, you would hate a surprise party. Or like you don't want a surprise party. And you said everyone in their life would like a surprise party.
Well, I guess not everyone.
Actually does want. Everyone has it in them.
I think deep down, everyone has it in them to appreciate the thought of having a surprise party. I'm not saying everybody would enjoy it. I'm saying everybody wants that level of community in their life to where they could have a surprise party. And I have realized very recently that if you wanted to give me a surprise party, it would have to be, hey, could you run to the store? And then I get back and you, Oaks and Alder, surprise!
No, I did. I was thinking I could give Jason a surprise party this year. I thought it would be really fun to have a bunch of guys over. And
therein lies the problem. The bunch of guys.
So I had this vision.
You are my friend.
Of setting up targets, and you guys just shooting targets in the backyard. Like, that sounds fun, right? That sounds like a very Kentucky surprise
Definitely sounds like a Kentucky surprise birthday party.
With food and things.
Yeah, it would have to have some kind of activity. I don't know. But the problem is the people.
That was my
Were you going
to
bring a whole bunch of your mom friends over? Like, surprise!
Well, no, I could invite couples, though. I could round up some couples, but none of the guys are really your friends, so.
I have one or two who we talk.
At other events. But never, like, outside of that, so.
Can you imagine, like, happy birthday. Here's some guys you don't really know. Go talk to them. It's like, what did I get? What did I do?
Well, just so you know, the thought was there. And then I thought, no, he wouldn't like that. I could have gone through with it, and I was this close to doing it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was this close.
See, the only reason I wouldn't want it right now, I feel like I would be embarrassed.
Oh, because the people I invited, they'd be like, you were invited too?
No, I think most of the people that you would invite to my personal surprise birthday party would be like, why did you invite me? What? His name's Jason, right? So so I would feel embarrassed. I would love a surprise birthday party.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not asking for one.
I think I would like a surprise birthday party, but honestly, it's got to be really good.
Yeah. And so your standards are really high. See, my standards aren't high. A guy's standards not high.
No,
he's never gonna care.
You'd be fine with a surprise birthday party like at a restaurant or something.
Yeah,
everybody's there,
and you wouldn't be.
No,
really?
No, it needs to be in a meadow of wildflowers with, I don't know, honey made directly on the table, flowing from the. I don't know.
Wow.
I'm just thinking.
So your expectations are very high.
They're a little outrageous. So just don't do it.
Just don't do
it. Yeah.
Okay. Then would it upset you if, it was at a restaurant and people were there to celebrate you?
What restaurant?
A farm to table with the farmiest of tables.
With fresh flowers on the table?
Oh, certainly.
Oh, okay. I mean, I think it could be done.
You have a couple of mom friends that grow flowers.
Candles,
yeah.
And I don't know, a tablecloth?
That's asking a little much. No tablecloths. That's too much. I'm not packing anything.
Oh.
Moms will have to bring it. And then I won't be there, which will help your birthday party experience.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would be the only guy there because I'm not inviting couples because then I have to talk to the other guys.
See, and that's where you always are getting on to me for thinking you're an introvert. But it's comments like that make me think that you are.
No.
Like that you don't want to go to someone's house for a gathering.
No, I do. I like gatherings.
You just said that.
No, I like gatherings.
Then I'd have to talk to them.
If you don't know another man, say he's in his 30s or whatever, your kind of default is to just talk about work or, it's small talk. The small talk phase, which I understand is completely necessary. The small talk phase is hard for me. That's not being introverted. It's more so being like, this sounds mean and rude. I don't want to invest my time into figuring you out. I would rather just hit it off, which happens sometimes. You just hit it off and it's like, oh, this is great. But then most of the time it's this grueling process of, oh, what do you do, Mike? Well,
I have that relationship with some people,
It feels easier. It's easier with moms because the kids are
constantly interrupting you so that you can't actually
kids are
deepen your relationship.
They are a natural lead into conversation for moms.
It's still
not so much
small
for
talk.
dads.
It's still small talk. It's still the same. And then you have the same small talk when you don't take steps to deepen that relationship. It's like the same conversation every time.
Yeah.
It's like, I already know this.
I can think of like 2 guys, maybe 3, that would sort of make sense. And then it would...
I can think of 5.
Okay. Yeah. Well, anyway, this has nothing to do with...
My dad's one of them.
Oh, you're... Okay. There you go. Well, of course. I included Tom in my 2. He's in my 2. I know you're listening, Tom. You're in my 2. You're always in my 2, Tom. All right. Well, anyway, I guess you're not feeling the cabin fever as much. I don't know.
I also get out and do more things than you. I mean, like the Forest Friends group pushes me to do that. And can I just take a moment to talk about Forest Friends? Our listeners may not even care. But this is one of the questions that I get asked so much. I just get messages.
Okay.
How did you find a Forest Friends group? How do I find that?
What is a Forest Friends group exactly?
Yeah, a nature group. A group of people that get outside every week, no matter what.
Okay.
And we used to make videos about Forest Friends on Fridays, and it wasn't real. And then one of my friends said, we should make that. And I said, yeah, I'll do it. I'd love to do that. And she said she'd be a part of it. She isn't a part of it. But despite that,
well, that's how it goes sometimes.
I've persisted, and it has been so wonderful for me. I think I would be very lonely without my Forest Friends group. And I just made a profile on Wild and Free, and then it sets you up on a map, so people looking for that type of thing can search you. But we're not even on their website really. That's just how people can find me. We've outsourced to a different app where we can all communicate more easily.
So how can outside people find you? Word of mouth?
They can still find me on Wild and Free.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, if you're in the local area and looking for a Wild and Free group, what's it called? Forest Friends on Friday. Is that how they could search it?
No.
Or they search by location?
Yeah.
Okay. And you're the only one?
Yeah. And then, I have to approve the person. And then I do a little vetting.
You're a weirdo.
Yeah. Try to vet a little.
Yeah.
And
you're not going to make it.
Yeah.
We have interviews every third month.
Well, see, I used to post our location on the website, but then I felt weird about that because anybody could see it.
Yeah, that seems a little...
So then I made our group private, and then you had to be accepted into the group. But still, some people joined the group, and it was AC. That's all they had on there. Was their name without a picture or anything. And I'm like, well, this is kind of weird. Yeah. So now I accept you into the group.
Andrew.
And message you and have you text me. And then,
Coolidge.
I'll submit you to our different app. So, yeah, I mean, it's
a process.
I mean, I
We're
love it. And
highly exclusive.
No, I just wanted to encourage anybody who's feeling lonely or feeling like I wish I had a group like that. Make it. Just do it. And nobody came. Like, to my first meeting, 2 families came, and it was a little depressing. I had like a big nature study organized and planned.
Yeah.
And for 2 people to show up, I mean, it was okay. I felt like, hey, at least somebody came. But then the next meeting, almost nobody, like, 1 person came back and they were super late. I started crying because I thought nobody came back. And I can't, I just felt so sad about that. Mm-hmm. And then one of the families returned, but she's actually out of the group now. But the one who originally came back. I don't know.
Sounds like an episode of Gilmore Girls.
But yeah, I mean, I think it's been really good, and I really love it. And I look for opportunities to get together with the moms. If you follow me on Instagram, you see in my stories, like, moms getting together and making wreaths, or I don't know, we do a bunch of different little activities.
Egg hand warmers.
We don't make egg hand warmers together.
Well, it was at Forest Friends you did that.
For my family. Just wanted to give some encouragement to someone who's feeling lonely and sad and wishing they had that. Just make it. Make it. If you need help, reach out to me and I'd gladly give you any information I have. I used to plan little lessons, and now it's more like, meh. We just play. Yeah. Kids get out and play, and moms talk. We go on hikes. I mean, I'll point out things that I know. Yeah. Forage a little.
Well, that's all people really need too. It's like you think you need this big lesson plan or something, but then really people just want to get together.
Yeah. Well, some people have quit because they don't really see the value in it because they're focused on learning something. Like they feel like that's a school day lost.
No, it's a school day gained. It's like it counts double.
Yeah.
And this is all great, except for those of you who live in rural Montana. You're on your own.
You're just going to have to travel.
You're on your own. Well, we're having Forest Friends on Friday. It takes 3 hours to get there. We've been through Montana. It's I feel bad for you guys, except I feel jealous of you guys too.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
It's amazing.
Who needs a Forest Friends on Friday when you live in Montana?
Your neighbor is like 7 miles away on the top of a different hill. All right. I've got some comments that I'd like to go over.
Comments of the week. It's been a while.
It has been a while. These first 2 are me focused.
Okay.
I'm going to talk about me a little bit. Marissa Ann 119 says, are we not going to acknowledge the fact that Jason needs a haircut really bad? Laugh face, laugh face. Well, I got one just for you.
I've been
Marissa Ann.
Every time that we film, I'm like, what? Your hair. You got to do something with it.
I didn't mean for it to get as long as it did. It just happened. Whatever. Well, do you really feel the need to just tell the world, let's talk about Jason and his hair? Let's, do we all not think he needs a haircut now? Like it's a vote?
Okay, can I go into a sensitive topic for you?
Can I?
Jason.
What?
Posted a video on his page.
No.
Of him singing. No. Yes, I can, because I'm put on the spot all the time.
Next comment.
He posted a video
Hold
on
let me
his
say
page.
This. How's Jason doing? He seems a bit under the weather or something. Same day. Oh, that one was from, I want Yeti Spaghetti.
That's cute. Jason posted a video on his own Instagram page, and then
which is Jason D. Morrow. Go follow.
2 people said something about autotune, needing it. And
one of them was Josh Urich.
He deleted the video. He has gotten on to me this whole really very crunchy journey about how it doesn't matter what people say. You just produce something and you put it out and then you move on. You don't bow to the mob. You don't change.
Don't you talk about my yourself.
Singing. And so I'm just...
Unless it's about my singing. I'm delicate.
And then you feel the need to bring up these comments about your hair. How many times have people asked me if I'm pregnant? How many times?
Who has the audacity to do something like that? Isn't that like rule number 1 of all social interactions ever? Don't.
Yeah, but people say stuff about me all the time. If you were really crunchy, you wouldn't have that pimple on your face. If you like, what? Okay.
Some people are just jerks.
I mean, I get stuff all the time, and you're like deleting videos of yourself and hyperfixating on the fact that people didn't like your hair. Your hair was bad.
Okay.
It needed to be cut.
All right. Well,
Someone
it's cut. It's cut. It is cut. I did it for you, Yeti Spaghetti and Marissa Ann 119. You got me a haircut. Thank you for your contribution to Really Very Crunchy.
Here's the truth.
Blocked.
My mom cuts Jason's hair.
She's the best one at it, too. Never had a better haircut than from your mom. Every time I looked like some 70-year-old woman before your mom came along and turned me into a regular-looking person.
Pixie cut.
I don't understand that. It was different people all over the place. Every time. I just have a weird head. It's like, well, he looks like he needs a pixie cut. Like, no thanks. And it got 10 times worse in Korea because, I mean, they have certain hairstyles over in Korea. And honestly,
a different hair texture type.
My head, it does not really fit the Korean man style, at least at the time. I don't know what the Korean man style is now, but maybe it'd be great now. Who knows? But I've had trouble. I've had to go through some confidence issues with my hair over the last decade. I also have white hair. I haven't talked about this. I have a white patch. Makes me look like a dirty little mouse. In the back of my head, it showed up like 12 years ago. 12 years ago. No idea why. It's not a birthmark. It just showed up. It's like, bam, right here on the back of my head. And I have been so self-conscious about that. And I don't like it. And so when my hair is longer, Marissa Ann 119 and Yeti Spaghetti, when my hair is longer, the white patch isn't as noticeable. And I like it that way. And when I get a shorter haircut, I feel a little bit self-conscious because it's strange. It's a strange looking thing.
I don't even notice it.
You're next to me every day. That you're not going to notice it. And it's fine. I don't even think about it that much anymore. I really don't. It's but I it is what it is. You all got to learn about my lack of self-confidence a little bit today. All right. Thanks for bringing it out, Emily.
We all know you probably need that little bit of...
a little bit of humbling?
Yes.
Rude.
You have plenty of confidence.
You're rude.
It's true.
All right. Another comment. Karen Ashley NP, not Karina. It only took them 35... This is on the Red Dye 3 video. When they banned Red Dye 3 the other day, it only took them 35 years after banning in cosmetics to ban it in food. At that rate, we will be dye-free in like 10 generations. That's pretty true. How do you feel about all that? In your opinion, just off-the-cuff opinion, is the banning of Red Dye 3 let's give them this little bit so they'll shut up?
Sort of. I mean, yeah, it was hardly in anything anymore. I mean, it was in some
mostly
candies.
Red 40, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was in some candies and stuff, but those places are just going to replace it with Red 40. It's not like they're going to be like, oh, now let's use beet powder. Yeah. I just don't see Double Bubble doing that. So,
yeah, good point.
It's already been banned in cosmetics. It feels like a duh.
See, that's a huge disconnect to me. It was banned in cosmetics because of its carcinogenic properties, but we'll leave it in the candy.
Yeah.
The children's candy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Clearly... Yeah, it doesn't make
crazy.
sense. So,
and it was the same people who banned it, right? I mean, I guess would it be FDA that does cosmetics,
yeah,
right?
I think so,
yeah. That's weird.
Yeah, definite disconnect, and it sort of feels like they're trying to distract us. Like, look, we're giving you this.
It's not something like great to celebrate necessarily.
No, I don't think so. It's like now give all the dice. Yeah. Just make it
the
European
celebration
standard.
Right. Well, the celebration was more so like the validation of how much how, even at the beginning of Really Very Crunchy, how much flack did we get over talking about dyes? There were points where you didn't really want to talk about dyes because there were so many people who just like, ugh,
that's this the is whole so crunchy thing. Everyone, like, you can't talk about anything. And I
thought that's what crunchy people did. They talked about everything.
Yeah, they talk about everything, but someone's always going to say something against it. And
yeah, dyes was a big one.
But the dyes was a big one because it's something that really does affect your life.
Yeah.
Especially if you have children.
Every time we ever post anything about food dyes, there's always one or two, but many times a group of people who just blatantly say there have been no studies saying that it affects people. That is simply not true.
That is false.
Yeah. I find that very strange.
It's weird.
It's pretty,
where are they getting their information?
I'm pretty sure even just like a really quick Google search, and it's like, it's not great for
links,
you.
Yeah.
It's like, yes, this is linked to carcinogens, or it is a carcinogen or whatever. And it's like, what are you people doing? Like, you just want to believe something, so you just spew it out.
I think a lot of times
maybe they're bots.
Maybe they're thinking like, I don't think they're bots.
Just bots. Pro food dye bots.
People don't want to believe information sometimes. They don't want to learn something new. They don't want to change
that's going to change their... force them to change their lifestyle.
Yeah, just because you don't like information doesn't mean it's not true.
That's the quote of the year right there.
And that's sort of what we're going to talk about for a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Like...
Yeah, well, that's the whole, like, that's kind of what the point of this one. What do you do with the information that you learn as a parent, as a crunchy mom, as a crunchy dad? What do you do when you learn new information? How do you weigh the information? I don't know. This was kind of, if you can kind of weigh in on what the topic actually is.
So the other day we posted this video and I was tying ribbons to these brass candlesticks. And there's this, shall I call her a crusader against lead. Lead Save Mama. She has basically commented on every single person's videos who has ever posted on Instagram about the dangers of lead. Yeah. I think that her mission is honorable because she is trying to save people from their children being lead poisoned. I guess her child experienced brain damage because of lead poisoning. Yeah. So that's
her story. Like
I think so. Okay. Yeah. And some of her stuff was shocking to me. I mean, we used to use mismatched china as our plates.
Yeah.
And everybody knows that china is high in lead.
We didn't.
I didn't know that.
No.
And so when I learned that, like, I have made positive changes for my family based on the information that she has shared. So I posted this video and she said it was about our kids having a conflict. Her comment was something like, they're acting out in aggression because of the lead exposure because of those candlesticks.
Because you were wrapping ribbon around a candlestick.
Yes.
Did you say that?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So... I wouldn't have thought that these candlesticks had lead in them. They are brass. So, like, I never would have thought solid brass had lead. So I just looked it up really quick and apparently it can have lead in it. And so here's like my initial instinct. I felt totally shamed. Like, not shamed. She wasn't shaming me. I felt ashamed that I had these in my home and that I didn't even think about their lead content.
I was surprised
that
you had them in your home after. Yeah,
after
I was like,
she said that.
No, I knew
you did not. So then I'm like, I need to get rid of these immediately.
Yeah.
Why would I have these in my home? But then I started thinking, it's a candlestick. My children never touch these.
It's not like the candlestick's evaporating into the air and going into your children's nostrils.
It's not like a paint thing where it's flaking. It's not affecting the air quality.
Yeah, it's not just actively
it's sitting on a shelf, holding a candle that they're not going to touch. Mm-hmm. Like it has no effect on. To me, Yeah, if it was a child's toy and they were putting it in their mouth, sure. But I had to make this decision. Like, what am I going to do with this information? Now that I know that brass has lead, what am I going to do? Am I going to get rid of these candlesticks? Am I going to like just make sure that my kids don't mess with them? What am I going to do?
Mm-hmm.
And I decided, like, I'm keeping them. I like them. They bring me joy. Brass is more of a mom thing. It's not a child's play thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm risking it.
Yeah.
But I think that, like, so many moms can get so overwhelmed with that kind of information. And then
there's always something.
It's always something. Nobody can live in a perfectly safe home and environment. There's always going to be something. When I was writing my book, I was talking about shelter and all the different aspects we need to think of when we're buying a home or renovating a home and the healthiest choices that you can make. And while reading this, I'm like, learning about all the dangerous effects of...
You're looking around your house.
Yeah, I'm like...
Oh, no.
Okay, well, thankfully, our carpet wasn't treated with PFAS or forever chemicals, but is it shedding microfibers? Likely, yes. And is it, like what's the effect of that on our lungs? And then I also think about, we have luxury vinyl plank flooring.
Mm.
It is vinyl, plastic. We couldn't afford hardwood floors whenever we redid the floors. So we got like the best that we could. It was Green Guard Gold certified.
It's Green Wash certified? Is that what you said? Yeah. Okay. I wasn't sure.
But, I can't just walk around my house freaking out about the flooring. You just have to move on until you can do better.
Some people would.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
Some people would, they would learn something about their floors and they either go one route.
Crazy.
They either go and start ripping up their floors, even if they can't afford it or whatever, or they just worry all the time or they go to a hotel.
You think the hotel would be more dangerous?
But I'm saying there's more. Yeah, well, that's true. There's people out there who are
just go to the extreme.
Go to the extreme.
When you learn information, like they have a hard time. There's this like disconnect in reality. Because realistically, we can't be perfect. I mean, if you're eating sweet potatoes, you're eating lead. There's lead contents in vegetables. And then there's like this whole, I just saw on Alex Clark, she shared something about, she was interviewing this lady. I didn't see the whole interview or podcast or anything, but this lady was like vehemently against vegetables, saying people can feel like they're in their prime when they're eating all these vegetables, but those vegetables are actually going to be their downfall.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a movement. There's a movement against vegetables, which seems a little strange.
I know. Some people are sensitive to oxalates. Like, I get that, but
I know that
I feel like God created the Garden of Eden and said, like, eat this.
Yeah.
And so...
Well,
there was no glyphosate back then, so I don't know.
It wasn't the livestock farm of Eden.
I just think surely all fruits and vegetables can't be bad for you.
Paul Saladino guy or whatever, he was really huge against vegetables for a long time. I don't know if he still
is against vegetables, but now he eats fruit.
His whole point was that he wanted to, or vegetables grow natural defenses to not be eaten, right?
So they're not bioavailable. Like the benefits aren't bioavailable.
And so those things essentially do what they have to do to protect themselves from being eaten more often. Like even if the one plant is eaten as a species, it wants to protect itself. And so inside of whatever eats it I don't know, effectively poisons that person.
So I think what you're supposed to do is if you're going to eat vegetables, you're supposed to ferment them, which sort of makes sense to me. Traditionally, a lot more things were
Garden
fermented.
Of Eden. Everything smelled like sauerkraut.
Just because that was the best method for preservation.
Yeah. Fermentation can go a little far too.
But we are expected to be so much more productive than previous societies.
Yeah. Well, so you could argue that we are in certain ways.
We have so much more downtime. But we're also expected.
I don't feel like I have any downtime.
We're expected to like produce. So it makes, eating wholesome food so challenging.
But that's definitely a culture thing. I mean, you see that less and less in other types, depending on what culture you're in. I mean, food is a very important part of many cultures. Eating well is a part of many cultures. Food, in terms of quality, is certainly not prioritized in American culture. American culture is work, chase the dream, the American dream. And that's great. There's nothing wrong with the American dream. But along with that, the sacrifice comes of, now we eat TV dinner, not us, but we eat TV dinners because we're chasing after the American dream. We want we want to make as much money as we can make. We want to get the biggest house we can get, the nicest new car, because we are Americans and we want to just live the dream. And the slow living, which is probably a better life overall, gets lost in that. It's almost like what America used to be. It was kind of a slower, just by nature, life was slower, and the food you made was better because it was from scratch. It had to be. All these things had to be done. And then the pursuit with the Industrial Revolution, the pursuit of greater things, we definitely lost that.
Definitely.
And that's interesting. I'll get off my box now.
No.
I love America. That's not an anti-American thing. I wish we could do both. I love the idea of chasing bigger things, exploring, that's great. But don't lose everything that's good. And that's what has started to happen. Yeah. And of course, the other side of it too is, where I think we're entering a phase of there is a general apathy among people, and the drive. I think the drive by a lot of people to get better or do better or chase after dreams has started to diminish. But at the same time, the health of slow living has not come back to fix that. So now we're not chasing big dreams, going after big things, and we're eating TV dinners. And we're just sitting in front of Netflix and playing video games all the time. And it's just like, so I don't know what that society looks like in the next 20 to 30 years. But
I think people struggle, though, like with the whole crunchy thing, because they don't immediately see a fix or a benefit. Like, this is a long-term thing.
Yeah.
And it starts with your children. You're laying the foundation for their lifelong health in their early years. And that is a scientific fact.
Yeah.
And when you nourish them well when they're younger, they will have fewer chronic diseases when they're older. Mm-hmm. And I don't think people can think that far ahead.
Yeah.
Or they feel like, well, I ate this way and I'm fine. I don't understand why I'm infertile, and I don't understand why I have headaches every day, and I don't understand why my hormones are out of whack.
A whole list of things.
I know, like, they're just not lining healthier choices with those things. But who was I talking to? Her daughter got her period when she was 8 years old, and the doctor said it's because she's eating all these endocrine disrupting foods, and it's
the doctor said that?
Yes, the doctor said that to her. So
unusual.
They started making changes because she was just like early pubescent.
Yeah.
And so she became a little more crunchy. She wouldn't call herself crunchy, but just started making different food choices and different like home chemical choices because of the effect that it had on her daughter. And the doctor actually, did say that.
Wow.
But
I feel like that's not
I don't think that's common. No.
Wow.
But it is interesting what people do when they learn something. I think like what I've seen in our videos, people comment like, that's not true. And then they move on. And they're not willing to explore the idea of that.
I think you and I approach things differently when we learn new information. I typically fall on the side of not It doesn't spur me to action very quickly when I learn new information, because I'm more of a, okay, that's one source, I'll read further at some other point. I don't see a comment by Lead Safe Mama and think to myself, oh, the lead, oh my goodness, is that maybe I should get rid of these. I think more in terms of like, maybe. Well, and then I just move on.
See, I think, oh my goodness, maybe I should get rid of these. First, I'm going to look it up.
Yeah.
So what I did with those, I bought this, it's called FluoroSpec. It's a lead test from, it's supposedly a more reliable lead test. I know a lot of people say that at-home lead testing is not accurate at all, but supposedly this one's better. It's put out by the content creator, Eric Everything Lead.
Oh, okay. Is that the Eric Ritter? Is that his name? Is that the same guy?
Yeah. Okay. Was that his last name?
Ritter, I think.
I really like him because he isn't fear-mongering, but he is also pro making sure people make safe choices for their family. And like his whole mission is to end lead poisoning. So, but he's very level-headed. And I mean, I don't know, maybe other women wouldn't like me to say this, but I think in general, men maybe are a little more level-headed.
Okay.
Like less prone to panic.
Sure. Yeah.
So, I like his content and I like what he says. And there's even one where he shows a clip of Lead Safe Mama and she, is saying like, these supplements are so dangerous. They're anti-science. And then he goes into, well, actually, I mean, it's like a food supplement and it's not a baby food. It's for adults. And
well, there's a lot of those situations where you like, yes, this is a bad thing. And yes, but he ended up determining in that it had less lead than eating like a sweet potato.
Yeah.
Or something like that. If you're talking about volume, there's a lot of things out there that are really bad for you. And I don't know the specifics or anything, but you would have to eat like gallons of something to get the amount that is really bad for you.
That's probably where people stand with the carcinogenic food dyes. They're like, well, you would have to eat so much for it to really affect you.
But we don't really, I'm not sure we know what that is.
Yeah, we don't know what that is. Kids probably are getting quite a lot of dyes. And
I would think so, yeah. I mean, it's in all the Doritos.
And all I can say is I gave my older son dyes when he was little, and I saw, within
there's definitely a behavioral difference.
10 minutes, a shift.
Yeah.
Like, different person. Defiant. Immediately. Like, crazy. It was undeniable.
Yeah.
And then it took a while to get him back to who he was.
Yeah.
It was
much longer than it took him for him to change.
Aggressive. Yeah. Like it was weird. So
it's not just red either.
That wasn't hard for me to make that choice. And I think that's another thing whenever you learn information and you can see a clear path to a change, a positive change, then it's easier to accept that information and take action.
That's much easier in like a food type of situation where there may be an intolerance for, say, dairy or for like a mood change in food diet, but it's much harder. Well, the brass candlesticks, you have carpet in your house, so microplastics are shedding. Well, like that's not, you can't just next day fix that. So you have to make a decision of how you're going to react to that. One thing we do in our house, we have air doctors going. I understand this is sponsored by Air Doctor. I'm not trying to say, that's not what I'm doing. But like, it does something. It helps the air quality. It's not perfect. It's not having, what kind of floor would you have in your house that isn't going to kill you at some point? Because even wood floors have a coating on them that's not great, right? I mean, you have to...
Yeah, I guess like an unfinished...
Rub honey over your floors every week.
Beeswax, Jason.
Beeswax? You're going to rub beeswax over your floor? They would be the most disgusting floors in the world.
Well, they make, you can get like a balmy beeswax.
A balmy for your entire floor?
I'm not saying I'm doing it.
No, I know. I'm just saying
I don't know what the perfect answer is.
And that's the problem. That's where I come in, where I'm a little bit different in that if I don't see a solution that is even remotely
wool carpet.
That's okay. But no, I'm saying if I don't see a solution that's even remotely doable in the next, if I can't change it in a day, if I can't change it in a week, if I can't change it in a month, I'm certainly not going to worry about it in the moment. That's kind of where I'm at. Like, if we have to get new floors, well, that's not something that's happening tomorrow. So I'm not going to sit here and fret over it. But you would say, but the problem is you'll never get your floors changed. Right? Because if you have that attitude, you'll never do anything about it. And so you'll just live with it forever.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know.
I don't know. It's really tricky. I think about like furniture. Most furniture these days is coated with something that makes it
flame retardant
resistant, which is a forever chemical generally. And then like, what do you do when you find out that your $2,000 couch has forever chemicals?
Well,
throw a sheet over it.
Part of the problem too is that when you're talking to the, I don't know, put this in air quotes, common person, which we're all the common person, but when you're talking to the common person, you say the word forever chemical, that doesn't mean anything to me. That doesn't mean anything. Forever chemical.
Shocking to me. Forever chemical.
Sounds ominous.
Scary. Yeah.
But like, it doesn't mean anything. What does that mean? Does it actually mean that you die earlier? Does it mean you're lower quality?
Cancer.
Yeah, and there's higher cancer rates now than there ever have been.
It's linked to behavioral issues in children and learning delays, and I mean all sorts of stuff. I mean, I know. I don't know if she listens to our podcast, but I guess I'm just going to say this. I know a lady who didn't know that paper plates had forever chemicals. Yeah. They were like treated with forever chemicals. And I don't know if she has switched, but she said like learning that has shaken her because her children have been eating off paper plates.
They're fine.
Their entire life.
They're okay.
They're just like everyone. So many people do that though. Use paper plates versus.
Can I do a tiny rant on paper plates really quick? Why paper plates? Why? It is the easiest dish to clean. It is the easiest out of all the dishes, out of all of them.
A plate
makes them. It's the easiest.
There's like an obvious spot in a dishwasher.
You either wipe it off or let it run under the sink, and it's done.
It's almost the pans. Pans are the problem.
Yeah, so just cook in aluminum and then worry. So like
this links to Alzheimer's.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm just saying, like, cook. That's what you ought to be worried about. So, but nobody cooks like that, really.
Yes, they do, Jason.
Oh, really?
People use aluminum foil.
Man.
People use crockpot liner bags.
That's what shocked me. I was shocked by this. I never knew it was even a thing. I was at work, the place I worked before this. We had a potluck, and I'm telling you, every crockpot had a plastic bag full of chili, full of
every
dip.
Single one?
I think every one of them. And we weren't even doing like, we were crunchy or whatever, but like we weren't even doing really very crunchy yet. And I was shocked because I didn't know that was a thing. Like, people don't want to wash their dishes that bad. You let it soak. It's not that bad. It'll come off in the water after, 10 hours. Just let it soak overnight.
Yeah.
But you'd rather eat it cooked in a plastic bag? They're BPA free, though. Well, they're not other things free.
Well, then they've got the hot plastic. They've got the plastic spoon in the hot plastic.
Yeah, and it's
bag.
chipping off, and it's like melted on the side. And when I was growing up, we had plastic utensils, cooking spatulas and stuff that had melted parts on it.
Yeah,
and people
too.
don't believe that we eat a credit card's worth of plastic in however much time it is.
I don't believe that,
but then you look at the crock pot liners, and it's like, well, yeah, maybe we actually do. Okay. Maybe it's more like a full wallet,
Maybe the average American eats that.
The average American eats a brick of plastic a month. It's a full brick.
I didn't believe that when I saw that, and I'm like, nah.
It's not that hard. It's not that hard. Just go to a potluck and you'll see. Like, hey, I brought this, and it's like it was cooked in one of those plastic containers in a microwave.
I mean, before I was even crunchy, I went to this girl's house and she had Teflon pans, and the Teflon was super scraped.
Just ripping off. Totally it looked like it had a hair at the bottom of it.
Scraped. And I brought my food to heat up because I was doing a special diet. This was before I was crunchy. I don't know.
It was an elimination, like the whole 30.
Yeah, an elimination diet. Yeah. So, I brought my food and I asked her if I could heat it up, and she gave me this pot that was like so scratched. I couldn't do it. I was like, I can't.
There's
I told
a line.
her, I can't
even
use this.
Non-crunchy. Like
she's like, it's nothing. So she gave it to her teenage son, and I took the pot that wasn't scratched, and it still haunts me that I could have affected him for the rest of his life. I made him use
He would have gotten
pot.
one anyway.
He didn't care. He was like, I don't care. I'll use it. And I'm like, this is not cool, dude. It's not like a cool thing.
Scraped up Teflon is definitely a thing, and everyone knows it. Like, that's not an uncommon knowledge, really. I do think there's people out there. That's where you have your two extremes, right? You've got your extreme anxious crunchy person, and you have your extreme apathetic non-crunchy person. It goes to that extreme sometimes where people think that nothing can affect you. There are people out there who just think they just don't believe any of it, or they don't care, and they don't care because they don't see it affecting them on their daily lives. What they're not accounting for is when they're 60, 70, 80 years old, what is that going to look like?
Right.
We don't know.
But I'm in the anxious side. We go to an Airbnb and all they have is Teflon pans. And I'm like, I'm not doing it.
We now bring our own pans.
I can't do it.
We do bring a pan.
Even if it's not scratched at all.
Yeah.
Like, I should get over it and just do it. It's probably fine. It's probably rarely cooked on.
Yeah.
Like, I'm probably not getting affected by the one-time use of the Teflon pan.
Well, we do bring our own blankets. Because those
laundry.
Those polyester sheets are too hot.
It's not comfortable. No. Catches on your feet.
I have crackly feet. Yeah. I can't handle the polyester.
And just the laundry detergent with the boosts.
Cotton's just as cheap, right?
No, it's not. Cotton sheets, 100% cotton sheets are ridiculous. Even non-organic.
Versus polyester?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
You can get a polyester sheet set for $20, $30.
Okay.
If you want 100% cotton sheet set, I don't know about for twins.
Even a low thread count?
Walmart, 100% regular, it's going to be $60, $70.
Really?
Yes.
I've never bought sheets.
Yeah.
So, okay. Thank you for
I don't know
taking
about
care
on
of
Amazon.
us.
There might be like
Amazon Basics cotton sheets. Definitely no plastic.
Trust us.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we've talked about a lot.
Do we have any like
what's the conclusion?
Yeah, what is the conclusion here? I think a lot of people say the 80-20 thing. And we've talked about that before, but I think that it's just a slippery slope. No, I think the 80-20 thing is a slippery slope.
Oh, and I'm saying yes.
You so
I agree with
easily, well, that's my 20. That's my 20. That's my 20.
Right. At some point, your 20's going over the 20% mark.
I think.
And some 20s are worth more than 20. That was the point we made before.
To me, though, you have to decide. I think it's good to hold fast to your convictions. But then, outside of your home, you allow. It's what is the rule in your home? What is your daily life like?
And what are the hard rules outside as well? You have to establish
you have hard
those.
rules outside too.
You have to establish those.
Right.
And what are they?
Mm-hmm.
For us, it's definitely the food dies because we see
yes.
how our kids change.
I need to make a rule. No staying up past 8 p.m.
Oh, man. Whoa.
We went to a Robert Burns dinner. If you don't know who Robert Burns is, he's the writer of Auld Lang Syne. Yeah. He is, do you say Auld Lang Syne?
It's AULD, so yes, I say Auld Lang Syne.
People say Auld Lang Syne, though. Auld Lang Syne.
Auld Lang Syne, whatever.
I always want to say Auld Lang Syne, but it's just say Auld Lang Syne.
I say Auld Lang Syne.
Okay.
What do you say? Tell us in the comments or mention it in your review of our show. 5 stars.
He's a famous Scottish poet and has written Love is like a red, red rose. I can't remember anyway.
I like that your dad made the joke. He wrote roses are red, violets are blue. I love that.
Yeah, so we went to this dinner, and our kids stayed up until 9:30. Today's been rough.
9:30 is not a good time for a 4-year-old. Our 7-year-old's done well, actually. He's good. 4-year-old.
Struggle bus.
Struggle bus. We don't even take the bus, and he's on it. So, well, I don't really know what to conclude from this other than, like, if you're doing 80-20, be realistic about what's actually 20%. 80-20. Gonna use the crock pot liners. I guess that could be in your 20.
There's this whole movement, like, you should be open to unlearning.
You said that with kind of a head swivel, like unlearning. So I don't know if you really like this or really hate it. You don't like it. Okay, this is a don't like head swivel.
Well, I think people take it really too far then and start, like, unlearning everything, unlearning certain traditions, and like, especially when it pertains to religious things, you know.
Okay.
Like,
I'm not really familiar with this.
Unlearning?
Well, I mean, I know the term.
It's pretty self-explanatory.
I know the term. I don't know the movement. Is there a movement for this?
Yeah. Oh, totally. And I think.
Okay, so that's what's new to me.
I don't want to discourage you exploring unlearning. You know, like, it is good to reevaluate and look at your life and think about every aspect and seek out new points of view. Mm-hmm. But I just think it can be really tricky.
Can you give me an example? Like, what, even outside of a religious sense, just more so, let's talk unlearning food habits?
Yeah, food habits, or...
in what way? Unlearning. Like, so you believe that, let's say, food dyes are bad. Your unlearning is telling yourself that it's not bad? Or is it just turning your back on what you once thought? It's not unlearning. You learned the information. I don't understand. You can't unlearn something.
Okay, like, to me...
Except Yoda says, unlearn what you have learned. So I don't know how
salad
is
a
He's
healthy...
a Jedi master.
Salad's a healthy choice. Like...
Unlearn.
Kale is... I don't want to say kale's a superfood because I've already, like, unlearned that.
Paul Saladino said it's poison.
I know. So that's something that...
Wait, you've actually unlearned that kale is good for you?
Yeah.
You believe that?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought kale was, like, the green.
I know. Well,
Where do you fall, Emily? Is it good or bad?
I'm just saying...
What is kale?
I'm just saying... I think it's good to unlearn things.
What about all the kale chips you made me eat?
But you just have to also be mindful of what is the world.
That's it. And I'm unlearning all of it. I'm unlearning. We're ordering pizza tonight. I'm unlearning.
But you've already learned about the fluorocarbons.
Nah, I'm unlearning it right now. Unlearned.
That's not what I was trying to say.
Oreos are bad for you? Unlearned.
I'm trying to say that what am I trying to say?
I read
Where
your book.
was I going?
Unlearned. Unlearned your whole book just now.
I think unlearning can be really where I was going with that is, so we already know it's common knowledge that children need to play. We know that. It develops their cognitive skills, their emotional skills,
Seems like a no-brainer. Yeah.
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 It's so good for them.
People are unlearning that?
No. Well, so we learned that children also have the largest capacity to learn, or most brain plasticity, between the ages 2 and 7. And we know the importance of downtime and free play and all that, yet we continue to push children harder and harder and harder and, like, get them to try and learn so much.
I want you reading by 4.
In these early formative years, which early reading has no benefits long term. There's, like, actually nothing they can prove that early reading benefits.
Just literacy in general.
There was a article by the Washington Post that I was reading that's like, it is so ridiculous to test IQs of children when they're in kindergarten because it changes every single year.
People have problem with IQ tests in general. There's even, IQ might not even actually be a thing. Really? Like there's a whole there's a whole thing. You can look it up. There's a whole thing out there about IQ tests and everything else just being completely bogus.
Really?
Just I mean, I'm not saying you can't you can get a general idea of how somebody thinks and can process.
Takes a test.
Correct. Yeah.
How well they were trained to take a test.
Well,
supposedly there are parents starting in infancy.
What?
Training their children to take tests.
Why?
I don't like it's.
I mean, maybe if
so
you're going to be a ninja, I could see that. Like, I'm going to train you from birth to be an assassin. Like, okay, well, then that's cool. You start learning stealth. Cool. It is if you're, working for the right guy. But no, that's crazy. To pass public school, to get into a good college.
Yeah. It is insane. It's crazy. It is crazy.
Let them play.
Yes, but what I'm saying is we already know this information, yet we continue to push kids. You continue.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know why aren't people capable of taking the information and making a positive change? Taking action.
Yeah. Well.
And that's where I'm saying the unlearning thing, but that's not even unlearning because we already know about the benefits of slow childhood.
So we don't have a conclusion for you.
We have no conclusion.
Come up with it yourself.
Let us know your tendencies.
I did want to say one more. We had another comment, and it goes with the brain thing. This is from Carly LEM. I don't know. It was which video was that? I don't know. It says, I know, is the prefrontal cortex one where the kids are arguing. I know it isn't the point of this cute video, but the prefrontal cortex thing is a myth. Our brains never stop growing.
Did you look that up?
I didn't.
So why do you want to bring up that comment?
What?
Should I?
No,
what do you do with that information?
What she learned somewhere. Somewhere. She read, maybe it was a Reddit thread. That's my guess.
Could have been.
That and
she sounds like a nice person. She said this cute video. It's not like she's just.
You're rich.
Yeah, no, she's not just trying to be like, I'm a know-it-all. She's a cute video.
Okay, fine. I will give her the benefit of the doubt that she's a nice person. That said, at some point, she learned or read the information that the prefrontal cortex thing that it fully develops, doesn't fully develop until 25, is a complete myth. Now, I'm not saying she's right or wrong, but what in the world does she do with that information?
Right. And what am I supposed to do with that information?
What are you? Yeah.
I read that and I'm like, that makes me question some things. I still don't think a child's brain is fully developed, so I'm not really going to change anything. I still don't think they're able to access whatever part of the brain controls their emotions.
It's very much proven in behavioral science that very young children, parts of their brain are basically cut off from one another when they're in certain situations.
So to me, I don't know what to do with that information, but part of me starts.
But she felt the need to give that information, whether right or wrong.
But it is interesting.
We're a comedy account. Don't blame us.
No.
Oh, I thought you were coming after us. Okay.
No. I'm saying we share information. So do people take our information and then just blanket it as fact and then share that? And, there's too many streams of information. research. And it's a beautiful thing because you can research anything, but then it's almost like you have to come to your own conclusion.
You do, because
on
I mean, you
things
can
that are
find
supposed to be facts.
Well, you can find studies that refute other studies, and they were conducted in different ways. And so it's like, which one do you go with? The most recent one? Well, what if they were done around the same time? And at the end of the day, they were done on rats. And so it doesn't really matter because they're not human. So like, what you know, I think some of it's pretty basic. Eat healthy. Maybe you're eating plants that poison you. Maybe not.
Go on a walk.
Go on walks. Relax. What you repeatedly say over and over in your book is that the anxiety, the stress of worrying about these things is far worse than many of the things that people are stressing about, particularly when they are stressing in the micro, like these tiny little decisions, these little things like your candlesticks that sit up on your shelf are not going to mess with you. That's not something that should stress you out. That's not good for you.
Right.
Cortisol levels go through the roof because you're thinking about your kids. Did they touch it? He did touch it. Oh my goodness, he has lead. You do a test on it. It has no lead from that.
Oh yeah,
test.
I started to say I did the fluorospec thing.
You did the test and it had no lead.
Non-detectable by the fluorospec.
Non-detectable by that, but you know, whatever. I'd love to get them on the show together.
Ooh.
To debate.
Ooh.
We would moderate.
Ooh.
I would love it. I wonder if they'd go for it.
She messages me. She told me she was going to send me some honey from her hives.
You know, it won't have lead in it.
It won't.
Listen, I think what she's doing is really great.
That's what I said. It's
I know you
honorable.
did. It is. It is. But yeah, there's that level of like, what do I even do with that information? And I think that worrying in the micro is that's what kills you faster. Worry in the macro. Overall, what are overall big ticket things you can do to make your life better, healthier? Exercise. Eat as good as you can. Be happy. Do things that bring joy to your family. Get outside. Play.
I know a lot of people say that the Blue Zone thing is a scam, sham.
Well,
whatever,
what am I going to do with that information? I'm in Paducah, Kentucky.
Well, I mean,
the future side of a blue zone.
He says have
yeah, right.
Have faith at the forefront.
What's that? What?
Well, all of the blue zones that are naturally blue zones have a strong faith-centered
interesting. I didn't know that.
Life. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we don't have all the answers.
Nah, never said we did.
We're glad that you're on this ride with us.
Yeah, and if you want to continue on this ride, just leave a review. 5 stars. We're almost to 1,000. I keep saying we're almost to 1,000, but we're not there yet.
Almost to 1,000 people.
Yeah.
Come on, please. If we get to 1,000, he'll quit asking you.
Yeah, actually, we got a comment the other day. It was the one when we had Jenny on the podcast, and they were sad that I didn't do the pandering for. Was it pandering the right word?
Yeah, pining.
Pining for reviews. I don't know. So anyway, go ahead.
Should we do like a little giveaway?
A giveaway?
If we get 1,000 reviews?
The problem is you have no idea it's not how that works on the podcasts. I would love to, but I don't know how we contact
set
a
up
reviewer.
An email.
Show us a screenshot of your review.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe someday.
Jason's like vetoing I'm all about a giveaway.
Yeah.
I'm like going through my closet. Oh, I bet somebody would like this on my on my page. Yeah. Or like just put it in my stories. But I don't know. I did that some and someone was like, this is awkward. You should stop. So
really?
Yeah, I haven't done that in a while.
What?
Like just giving away things.
Who said it was awkward?
I don't know. I don't keep up with everybody's names who messages me.
They said it was awkward that you were giving away something?
Yeah, they're like, why don't you just sell this on Facebook? Or I don't remember everything they said. They just said it was awkward and told me to stop.
No, they can stop. It's awkward that they messaged you to say it was awkward. You can do whatever you want. Anyway.
That was fun.
Yeah. So this is the last few weeks before our big show that we're going to be in Michigan. Just go to reallyverycrunchy.com/tour if you want to check out. We're doing 5 shows. Very short tour. It'll take a week.
I think right now you can use the code EDUCATION.
Is that right?
$5 off tickets.
$5.
That's what I heard.
Well, there you go.
So,
Emily's book that we talked about is linked in the description as well. You should check it out. It's really good. We're almost to 500 reviews there.
Thank you guys so much for listening. We hope you have a really great week.
See you next time.
Bye.